Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello MJ traders, in a bit of a rush, so we're just going to check in on the Canadian names today. In the US, things are holding on pretty well. The bulls still keeping control for the most part. We know our main leaders there. We had GTII report earnings, and then TRUL and Curaleaf both ran really hard leading into their earnings, pricing it in, and then they both sold off in response to their actual earnings being reported. But all in all, no significant sell-off, and the bulls maintaining daily uptrends on those names. Again, the names that are strongest for me are those three that I just talked about, with an honorable mention for Cresco Labs CL and keeping an eye on Harv and those other names. But again, three clear leaders in that space, technically speaking, for now. So in the Canadian MJ space, we've had, since we last talked, a little bit of action. So we had ACB top out on its short squeeze euphoria bottom capitulation move. Believe it or not, I actually made more money bullish on ACB right here than I did on any of these days. And that's just because I waited for trades to come into my wheelhouse for my edge as a trader. And if you've been watching over the years, you know that's oversold bounces. So I was playing ACB, 5-minute oversold conditions, playing the 5-minute RSI in the teens, playing the hourly oversold conditions. And again, when you hit those oversold conditions for the first time after a major bull run, there's a lot of bulls looking to buy that dip. So I'm certainly not suggesting that's the way everybody should do it, but that's just knowing who I am as a trader and embracing it. So we had news after hours yesterday on ACB. They acquired a CBD company in the US, and that company is purported to be one of the lead sellers. Again, we don't have any numbers because it's a private company, but huge gap up and response. And I would love to know, just for curiosity, what would that news reaction have been if it came out on May 8th? And I don't think it would be anywhere near what we saw. And again, it's the technical setup. It's the fact that the bid and the ask and the order book has been just smashed. Cleared out on the way up, cleared down on the way down. Daily higher low very quickly set at 12.11. And now we're watching, can the bulls break 1968 and confirm a daily trend change? And you remember the last video I said that would be more impressive to me than this short squeeze move, which was definitely impressive. But if you go like that, that's more impressive to me because it shows follow through. It shows you're not a one-hit wonder. You've got multiple hits lined up. If we reject from 1968, it's a tightening range, and we have a daily equilibrium to be watching. We'll have bears trying to top fish 1968 resistance. If we reject and lose the hourly uptrend, we're then going to look for a daily higher low compared to 12.11. So let's talk bigger picture a little bit before we get into the individual technical analysis of the other companies. If you are looking for long-term entries, number one, obviously in hindsight, the end of 2018 dumping was a great time for marijuana stock entries. And now in hindsight, the coronavirus dump is now a major buying opportunity. That's 2 times now where the S&P 500 was as weak as you could expect. The bears were as strong as you could expect. Buying bullish seemed as crazy as it has at any point in the last few years. But if you bought bullish at those points in time, you have done very well. So again, it's very hard to counter those emotions, but buying in the face of full-on mass fear have been the best entries. So where do we look for now that CGC has broken the daily downtrend? Let's try it again. We've changed the weekly trend with a higher low and a higher high by breaking 1825 here at the end of the day today on a headline. We'll talk about that headline in just a second. Earnings are approaching on CGC. U.S. stock markets are closed on Monday. So we've got one more trading day in the U.S. between now and Tuesday. So that's worth noting as well. So if you are looking for an entry and not in one now and feeling the FOMO, if I wanted to be an aggressive bull looking for a long entry, I'm waiting for a daily higher low. If I want to be a very patient bull, anything on the monthly time frame for CGC under 25.97, which is still 30% plus from here, anything under that is a lower high. And again, there's an inverse head and shoulders pattern here where if I'm in cash and wanting a position, I am hoping to reject from that level, pull back for a monthly higher low, maybe the S&P 500. I mean, there's certainly going to be an impact. We would have to see the S&P 500 see weakness at this point, in my opinion, to see MJ weakness. We have a lot of hype in the MJ space, led by ACB, and now the headlines are starting to come out. We're getting some CNBC coverage. CNBC mentioned ACB yesterday. So we're seeing the sentiment shift along with the price action shifting. And we would need to see, in my opinion, weekly consolidation in the S&P 500 if we were going to see a monthly lower high and then look for a monthly higher low. It's possible those events could align, those technical events, but that would be the easiest and most anti-FOMO entry if I were cash looking for a long-term position. Lower high compared to $25.97, monthly higher low compared to $9, and then bulls change the monthly trend. Of course, if we just shoot straight up and break $25.97, maybe on a bullish earnings reaction, then that FOMO is going to be strong. So again, if I want to be aggressive, it's a daily higher low. If I want to be patient, watch for that monthly trend. And once we have a monthly, weekly, and daily uptrend again on these major names in the MJ sector, bulls are back. But until then, we don't have all engines full steam ahead because we are in a monthly downtrend right now. So we're in a daily uptrend. Well, technically, we haven't set a daily higher low and higher high. We're in a weekly uptrend. We're looking for a daily higher low next time we consolidate, and we're in a monthly downtrend. So the time frames are not all aligning. And again, we have the most confidence, technically speaking, when all of our time frames are pointing in the same direction, which is why we ran so hard in blue sky breakout and the bulls were so confident. So the higher low everyday pattern has been a good one here for bottom fishing plays. For CGC, we had 1576 as support, and then on Tuesday, we held that by 6 pennies. Yesterday, the low of the day was 1653. We held that today by 14 pennies. So plays off the previous day of support have gone well. And at this point, we're certainly going to anticipate that CGC can hold the low of today tomorrow and keep that pattern going. 1825 broke. Where's our next resistance? 19 psychological. Well, actually, we have a couple levels here. 1854. We didn't break that during regular trading. 1873. 1894. There are levels here. We can pretty much look at every lower high on the daily time frame back in March. We saw a headline today, spike the price and spike the volume in a big way. And that was a headline saying, Canadian scientists implying essentially that cannabis can help prevent COVID. And we need way more information than that. That's a pump headline. And we saw that headline before today. That headline was pumped out intentionally and tagged certain companies. TLRY was, it went on the press release for TLRY intentionally. Again, I have no idea who, but in my opinion, whoever put that article out definitely had incentive to do so. But that article headline has been out for a while now, and for that to be meaningful, I'm disregarding it as meaningless personally, with a 5% chance that, hey, maybe that does have legitimacy that's going to be scientifically proven enough to be taken as fact. If that were the case, buckle up, because it's going to be a wild bull ride. But again, we need peer-reviewed studies. We need a lot more information than we have at this point. But it's good for a pump, so the bulls will take it. I entered on that pump. I just saw the momentum and bought bullish on CGC in the 1770s here at the end of the day. Did a little bit of flipping, but pretty much just ended up with the same position, and I am swing trading it. There was a notable shift at the end of the day. This profit taking, a lot of big asks showed up. There was a lot of profit taking and a lot of selling. And then after hours right here, it was throwing up red flags for me. Because normally when you see hype and momentum, you close strong, and then in after hours, the price gets pushed up higher so that tomorrow morning when we start trading, the bulls have a nice cushion to potentially try and gap up. And right here we were seeing selling in after hours and some big asks and some big shares. And in my opinion, that is a sign to me of bear action. It's not bulls exiting positions. The end of the day selling can be bulls exiting positions, absolutely. But if we're looking at big orders after hours, bulls are not going to be trying to exit big orders after hours by putting a stack of shares up on the ask. If they are, they don't know how to play this game, because all they're doing is scaring buyers and pushing the price down. You don't try and sell large orders in one big chunk. If you're going to sell, if I want to sell 10,000 shares, I'm selling 2,000 shares at this level, 2,000 shares at this level, and I'm spacing them out and I'm bouncing them around. I'm not putting 10,000 up in a block to scare everybody off. And we were seeing some big block shares. ACB dropped down after hours, 3% under the close. But with where we stand now, as we can see on the screen here, that's shifted a little bit and it's not as much of a concern because we are higher than where we closed on CGC and I believe TLRY, and bulls are keeping that momentum. S&P 500 will be a factor in the short term, but I am looking to lock in profit into this short-term bull momentum. And it's nice to be back. I've traded more dollar volume in the MJ space this week than I have in months, and the profit has come with that, which is good. So we know that the next time we consolidate on CGC, we're just going to be looking for an hourly higher low to form anything above $16.67. We have a few resistance levels between here and $19. And the question is, how long can we keep up the pattern of a higher low every single day? Because we know the bulls keep complete control in the daily time frame as long as that is the case. That being said, another thing, earnings. I don't play earnings, but I do play moves into earnings and moves after earnings. And one of the plays that I make into earnings is if we are in an all-out dump and we're heading into earnings pretty much the day of or the day before, I look for shorts to cover and for a bounce. And likewise in the opposite. If we're all bull, if we form a daily higher low every day into earnings from here, which is when? I believe Tuesday. So not many more days left. So that tells me be cautious of profit taking. Anybody that's bought, let's say anybody that entered $13, $14, $15, you're up 20, 30, 40%. Are you going to risk holding through earnings and risk that profit? Some people will. But again, you see profit taking leading into those earnings for logical reasons. People want to lock in that profit heading into an unknown coin flip event. So the harder we run leading into earnings, the more likely, in my opinion, we will see profit taking heading into those earnings. But again, we will just be looking for a daily higher low. And the bulls are comfortable in the sense that even if we have a bearish reaction to earnings and pull back 20%, we're still looking at a daily higher low. APHA, inside bar bull break. You could say we formed a little daily higher low at 339, breaking multiple resistance levels. So today we cleared 1, 2, 3 daily resistances from this week, and then another few key levels. 430 is now the level that's remaining, and if we break 430, it is a very clear trend change on the longer term time frames. Let's look at this CGC weekly trend change, because we have a clear little higher low and higher high. Again, this is frustrating for the bulls, but we have to remember that anything under 25.97 is a lower high. And if we change the weekly trend and don't get follow through, we look for that monthly lower high. Just like if we're going down and we change the 5-minute trend and we don't get follow through, it's a potential hourly bear flag. I'm not suggesting this is a monthly bear flag. I'm just suggesting that the bulls are not coasting easy here. We're in a monthly downtrend. So we have to be aware of that bigger picture. But weekly time frame, this trend change, we saw one similar back at the end of the year, but this is the first one that we've seen in the last 5 months, and it is a notable shift in momentum. Now what I'm going to be watching for is, can the bulls change? Can we see enough momentum to cross these exponential moving averages bullish, the 12 and 26 period, which again, that has not happened since the bulls were still very strong back in 2018, 2019. So for APHA, weekly time frame, again, when's the last time we've seen a higher low, higher high? Back here in November, December. And if we look at the monthly time frame, November, December was just our monthly lower high. And it was a bear flag. So again, I'm not suggesting bear flags are here. I think we've seen enough sentiment shift and enough dollar volume down at the low here that our bottom is in for now. But monthly time frame, anything under $6, still 50% away, is just a lower high on APHA. And if we get into a monthly, weekly, and daily uptrend, then we're back to full steam ahead. But as long as we're in a monthly downtrend, we have to have that little voice in the back of our head saying, don't forget, we're in a monthly downtrend. So all about 430. Cron, big bull volume showing up today. Daily higher low is 536. If we break 619, we can call that a daily trend change. Again, CGC has not seen this little higher low and higher high. Cron and APHA pulled back more this week than CGC did. But now for Cron, we're looking at the weekly time frame, and the key resistance have to see a break of 672 for a weekly trend change to take place. Don't forget the monthly. Anything on the monthly under $9 again, 45% is just a monthly lower high. Could this be a monthly bear flag? Yes, it's a possibility. I don't think it is. TLRY, all about 1060 from here. Weekly time frame, higher low is set. And a break of 1060 will be convincing. Look at the 12-period exponential resistance on the weekly time frame. Yes, we've closed over it a couple times, but we've never seen a convincing close over it with multiple candles. Pretty much one candle, and then we give it back every time. So we're shaping up to close over it this week. Can we get followed through next week? Stay tuned. Monthly time frame, poor TLRY has a ton of work to do on the monthly time frame. I would call anything under 22.95 a monthly lower high. That is still 120% away. So there's a lot of work to do for TLRY's monthly chart. But the daily volume's there. The bulls have momentum in their favor. And again, short term, nice after hours action. CGC's up there as well, breaking the high of the day after hours. But TLRY, you can tell the fact that it was tagged as that news headline that, again, was already circulating. It wasn't new news. It was just news that was pumped into the wires at a timely end-of-the-day move here. But the fact that TLRY was tagged, the fact that we have options activity on TLRY, the fact that we've seen the run to 300, the all-out dump, we know there's big money, there's big dollar volume playing TLRY, and it's clear that they have chosen this as their horse to run this news on. And other names are benefiting, but CGC right now is up 2% after hours, whereas we're up 8% from the high of the day on TLRY. So TLRY is the teacher's pet in this current bull move. OGI, let's see if we can get some laggard plays. Again, the most notable thing for me in the MJ sector recently was ACB selling off. That was not surprising. We knew that was going to happen. But the other names going up when ACB sold off. That showed us money is staying in the sector. Money is not leaving the sector. If it was, everybody's going to go down then. But money was leaving ACB and going into other names. So now the question is, once these main runners run, are we going to see funds go to these other laggards? This is a bull flag on the daily for OGI. OGI bulls have to break 170 to confirm it, and it's worth watching. Short-term support is 148, a double bottom. As far as the weekly time frame goes, what do we need to change the weekly trend? We're not close. On this bounce, we can break weekly lower highs, but we have to top out higher low, higher high. We're starting from scratch because we dropped to a lower low here. Hexo, so same thing. Daily time frame, higher low trying to form. Wow, what a sell-off that was. I mean, that alone makes me not want to play this name. Such a pump and dump move on a penny stock. But equilibrium is what we're going to watch for. Low, high, higher low at 48, likely to form. And we're going to look for a lower high compared to 89 cents. So again, it's if you're wanting to be aggressive and wanting to be high risk, high reward, it's worth watching these lower cap, smaller names for trickle down laggard action. VFF got some nice follow through after a big day yesterday. Hourly higher low. Anything over 380 will be a higher low. We've got resistance at 447, and then extended hours resistance there was 460. We've changed the weekly trend here. Again, look at this weekly exponential resistance. Hard rejections for months, and we're blowing through it for now. And with 1 day left, we're likely to close over it for the first time in 8 months. That is notable, but big picture, anything under anything is a lower high on the monthly. Anything under 1460 is a monthly lower high on VFF. So there are names that are closer to monthly resistance by a long shot, like CGC, than there are names like VFF and TLRY. So that's worth noting as well. Labs and VLNS, not really doing a whole lot, but I mean, their technical setups are clear in the sense that we have our low, high of the bounce is just a daily lower high, bulls working on a higher low, and we need to see a break of 188 to change the daily trend. If we're going to see a weekly trend change, I need to see these bulls break 214, and then to be convincing, get over 241 as well. But again, lots of work on the monthly time frame. We're just looking for monthly lower highs on all these bounces because monthly resistance is so far away. VLNS, trying for a daily bull flag, break a 248 will confirm it, have to break 261 to change the weekly trend. So we can obviously separate our top 5 major names and ACB, which was about to get the boot to the lower tier penny stock names. Obviously this move has captured our attention again because of the dollar volume coming in. I don't want to talk anymore. See you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day.